Hello, everyone. Um, yeah, welcome to the live stream today. And I'm Maxi from OKX Ventures, and I will be your moderator today. We're here to discuss one of the core reasons that crypto exists today is achieving the true fairness and credible neutrality. So one of the promises of crypto when we were bring to this industry was the neutrality. But it seems chains and platforms, many of them, are constantly experiencing the opposite. I can give a few examples, right? Like transaction manipulation is still a commonplace that happens every day, and censorship is a regular occurrence, whether it's from a government or from a validator interferences. And even more centralization solutions are emerging right now, actually. And conversely, and somewhat, these centralized solutions are plugging the holes of vulnerabilities undermining fairness, such as malicious MEV. And even today, one of the largest MEV solution, MEV blocker, is a private order flow. So the reliance on that is pretty in jeopardy. Just last week, or I think 2 weeks ago, there was a news of a bot that front-running MV blocker transaction for 250 ETH and relying on a few trusted actors in a private transaction chain make it really, really easy for this kind of attacks to happen. So the main point right now we need to face is the fairness and credible neutrality is still out of reach right now, and we may be heading in the wrong direction. So, what we need is a new and really decentralized standard. So today, we are here to explore one solution: the Gnosis Chain's new standard for credible neutrality, and powered by Shutter's shield trading. Uh, this encrypted mempool system is stopping censorship and front running, while boosting decentralization with the social encryption system. So with honor, let me introduce uh, today's panelist in the live show right now. So I will introduce them, and guys, you can introduce yourself as well for a few sentences. So firstly, let me introduce Luis, who is the project manager from Brainbot and Shadow. Luis.
Hey everyone, thanks for having me. Yeah, as you said, I'm Luis. I'm product manager at BrainBot for Shadow Network. So pretty much kind of on the product, not deeply technical side, although this is kind of a technical researchy topic. So yeah, excited for the stream today to answer any questions and discuss kind of what I think is definitely one of the most important topics in crypto.
Cool. Thanks for your intro, Luis. And next one, let's welcome Armin Arjun, the validator lead from Gnosis.
Hello, thanks for having me. My name is Arman. I'm leading validator coordination and the experience side at Gnosis Chain. So yeah, basically doing this work.
Cool, cool. Nice to meet you, Armin. And next one is Mark Harvey Hill from Nethermind and also Ethereum core developer. Mark.
Hello, great to be here. I'm Mark. I work as an Ethereum core developer, so improving Ethereum and developing the Nethermind client. And I've been working on implementing Shutter in the Nethermind client.
Cool. Glad to have you here, Mark. And the last one is Natasha, who is the key accounts manager at Gateway.fm.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Natasha here. Like Maxi said, I'm a key accounts manager at Gateway. I believe I have maybe some customer side insights to share in this discussion, but also warning everyone that my background is in psychology. So the discussion might also turn a little bit philosophical. So apologize for that in advance.
Cool. Okay, yep. So let's jump to our talk. So to start, the first question is for everyone. I want to get a quick opinion uh, about yourself, about you guys, right? So how big, in your idea, of a problem is fairness and crypto neutrality in crypto today? And you can give me a number from 1 to 10. So let's start from Luis.
10. Because that's kind of the whole reason for a crypto to exist, right? I mean, if we are fine with the marketplaces that traditional finance kind of provides, or let's say with the social media or kind of big tech companies that already exist, if we're happy with that status quo, and where censorship is possible and where we have decentralization, then we wouldn't need crypto, right? So I think kind of the whole value proposition of sort of public blockchains is to provide especially for the financial use cases, is to provide an as neutral and as kind of inclusive and kind of fair marketplace as possible, because that's what ultimately matters. If you think about why do you trade somewhere, the most important thing is you want to have the same sort of chances as everyone else. If certain people have unfair advantages, you don't want to trade there, right? That's kind of the main reason, and that's why you see people for every type of marketplace, kind of that should be the most important goal, and especially for crypto, because again, it wants to differentiate itself from the status quo, right?
Got it. Yeah. And Armin, what do you think about it?
Absolutely 10. I'm totally agree with Luis, because if we can talking about MLV bots, yeah, this is a huge problem. We should definitely fix it, and the right now is the problem is huge, I would say.
Got it. Mark, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with 10. I think it's the most important defining thing that separates kind of Web 2 from Web 3 stuff. And one of the defining values of Ethereum is to be credibly neutral. And even if, like powerful entities, states, whatever they try to censor, it should be a neutral ground that anyone should have access to.
Got it. Yeah. Last one, Natasha. Do you have any different opinion?
Yeah, no, I do agree that the problem is at 10. What I doubt is that our actual desire to solve the problem is also at 10. Back to what Lewis said, yeah, smaller players like you and me, or people listening to this, mostly do want a fair market. But if you look at the industry as a whole and how it's consolidating, and I mean that happens in any young industry, this is not specific to Web3, but as it's consolidating and as larger enterprises and institutions are entering, do they really want it super fair? Is the motivation really there, or are we just talking about this and everyone's kind of okay with it not being there? Like decentralization comes to mind in a similar way. We talk big talk, but in reality, no one wants to spend money to decentralize because we can do that in a year. It's not really necessary. I hope you get my point. I do agree it's 10. I'm just doubting everyone else in the system.
Very interesting idea. Okay, yeah. So next question also for all you guys, because all of you agree like the issue is at the 10, a very high score. So I know like you guys, all of you have done lots of development in the Ethereum ecosystem. So if achieving credible neutrality is so important, what is the biggest issue that preventing it from happening? Yeah, who wanna start? Maybe this one. Natasha, do you wanna start first?
I mean, my background's not technical, so from a technical standpoint, I can't say what's stopping us. But from based on what I said before, my question is, why haven't we solved this already? If it was such a big deal, and if we haven't, why are we still promising it? Why aren't we trying to build something And I mean, we are, and that's why we're here today to discuss the existing solutions. I think it's important to talk about what can be done. So not ideal fix, but the best we can do right now, and what other systems we can deploy to protect ourselves, our customers, our communities from things like this.
Got it. Thanks. Yeah, Mark. In your opinion, what are the biggest issues that prevent it from happening? Oh, I think Mark has some connection issue. Yeah. So maybe Armin, do you wanna? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think this is a problem can be overcome by doing just one thing. Uh, if you want to achieve a credible neutral system, if you want to build a credible neutral system, this system has to be as security-wise, providing some security-wise tools and the infrastructure for, and also to be resilience, and also the innovation and the development every time should keep on that, and also all of this, like we did a tools, we provide a resilience infrastructure, and also it should be a community participation. So all of this combining together and creating a meaningful steps for achieving credible neutrality, I believe.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, Louis, what's your opinion for it?
The question was, why is it? What's the biggest challenge, right?
Yeah, what
Yeah.
is preventing it from happening? Yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely Natasha was spot on. Kind of it's costly oftentimes. Right? It's something that adds complexity short term, right? So it requires an invest upfront, and the benefits are sort of manifesting itself over a longer time. So that's why people are afraid of it, or they are prioritizing, let's say quick wins, and forgetting about decentralization, or forgetting about, let's say, things like privacy, or data protection, or kind of security in general as well. So it's one of those things that isn't sexy from the get go. So and that's why that's the biggest challenge, I think, is that there's no natural pool. Kind of, it's not a new product. It's not an exciting new game or product that people can play with, that has a natural pull, or that immediately makes people richer or something. So that, I think, that's the biggest conundrum, kind of, that problem faces, I would say. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, Louis. Yeah, I see Mark is back. So I would like to hear your idea about this question. I will repeat it. Yeah. So in your opinion, what is preventing the credible neutrality from happen if that's so important? What's your idea about this?
I would agree with what Natasha said about that. Yeah, there's many people who it's definitely not in their interest to have things be decentralized. It would be much more in their interest to capture and have control over who can use these platforms, and they could do that through sort of regulation. I think there are economic factors that centralize things, like economies of scale, that kind of lead to centralization. So it's definitely an active struggle. It's not by default that you get decentralization. It requires a lot of work to design and build these things that are going to have built-in defenses against being captured. So I don't think there's any easy fixes. It's just takes a lot of work.
Gotcha. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think it really needs lots of work. Yeah. So next question is for Armin. And I know the Martin, so the founder of Gnosis Chain, is a huge proponent for credible neutrality and has made it a core priority for Gnosis Chain. And can you share a bit about like how this focus has shaped and is shaping Gnosis Chain's development? Yeah, Armin?
Absolutely. Thanks for asking this question. I mean, the credible neutrality has a very different angles. So when we build a platform that is open to everyone participation, meaning when we make it possible with providing some infrastructure tools such as Shutter Gnosis Chain, our system becomes quite secure and open to everyone, which means that I would like to give some examples. This approach, the credible neutrality approach, enhances the security and resilience of the Gnosis chain. For example, more than 200,000 validators secure the Gnosis chain, which means that this is a large and diverse set of validators, and the whole participation it is securing the network decentralization and the resistance to any kind of attacks, which also providing some self community governance, because of the it is open system. People can participate in the system without any rules or any kind of sets. So decision about the network are made collectively, providing a fair and impartial environment for the whole network. Yeah, and also on the we have a Gnosis DAO, so everyone can participate in the decision making process without any rules and sets, giving community members a say in shaping in a network future as well. And it also the credible neutrality wise also is allows that economical model. Our economical model also support the principle of the credible neutrality. I mean, transaction fees paid in a stablecoin. There is no any type of gas token like a ETH or GNO, which is reduced the volatility risk and simplifies the development experience. I would say, yeah, Gnosis chain credible neutrality in terms of a Gnosis core credible neutrality principles plays a critical role in the positioning in the project. We are trying to be a secure, fair, and community-oriented, and also, of course, the developer-friendly ecosystem. I believe the Shutter network is one of the best example for this purpose. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks, Armin. Yeah, we can really feel that Gnosis Chain have many hardworking and also have many innovations to try to implement the credible neutrality. And by the way, for all the audiences in all different platforms, you can drop if you have questions, you can just drop it in the comment or the chat box. Yeah. And so as far as I know, like Gnosis Chain have recently integrated with Shutter's true trading mechanism to achieve the greater fairness and credible neutrality. So the next question is for Luis. So what was done? I mean, for the integration of Shutter's shield trading with Gnosis Chain, and how has the experience changed for the users? Yeah.
Yep. So maybe taking from the top is basically the issue currently, if you are trading on any public blockchain, I would say, is that it's not safe to reveal information to the chain. By that I mean, for example, a trade, right, which reveals information to the chain. Why is it not safe? Because essentially there is no guarantee for you that you are then the one who benefits from that information that you reveal to the chain. So essentially, and that's a transaction ordering problem, right? So the chain there needs to be a neutral arbiter of saying, okay, this is your transaction, this is your trade idea, this is your profit, and that goes to you. What's happening in reality is that people see that information and they can front run and they can benefit from that information, or even censor you, right? So and even like connecting to the bigger problem is blockchains kind of solve that problem, right? They solve the problem of transaction ordering, but only for quite a longer time scale. So say from 10 seconds and higher, minutes, right? And Bitcoin is minutes. Whereas under that, a lot of the trading happens below that threshold, right? And that's where it's not solved. So that's why you have front running, and that's why you have censorship. And the issue with this is, again, you can't safely reveal information to the chain, and you can do so if you encrypt it. So that's kind of the whole shutterization or encrypted mempool, where you encrypt this information, or you encrypt your transactions and have them be signed and committed to by the validators while they're still encrypted. So the validator has to accept and include your transaction without even knowing what's in the transactions, and only afterwards does it get decrypted. And that's why neither the validator nor anyone else can then censor or front run. And how this works is essentially it's a threshold encryption committee, which we call the keepers, and they generate the keys. So those keys are used by the users to encrypt, or we have an encrypting RPC which encrypts transactions. And then there's a process, and there's a sequencer contract, essentially a two-step process, sort of, but that's included in the block building, I would say, that transactions are first kind of like sort of confirmed to be included, and only then are they the keepers releasing the decryption key, and only then is it decrypted and then processed as normal. And what was done is, so we built this first stage of it essentially, which is still opt-in and out of protocol, and essentially it has, I would say, three parts. So one is the keeper side and the shutter system where they generate the keys, which that interfaces with the Nethermind client, and maybe Mark will touch on this more. But essentially, the keepers provide the keys to the Nethermind, to those running this shutterized Nethermind build. And then the third part is the encrypting RPC, which that is the kind of an abstraction for the user, that they can easily just swap out the RPC and then be shutterized, which is nice for user experience. However, that is a trust assumption. So longer term, we want to move to a model where the user can actually encrypt really on their end, right? And that can be either within the dApp, within the front end, within the wallet, or we're also thinking, and this is a problem that we share with Hopper, how the other alternative could be to really build our own implementation or SDK, which would be like a privacy shield essentially that users can run. Yeah, but that's kind of set of three components, and many different parties, I would say. So Shutter, Nethermind, Gnosis, validators like a Gateway. So many moving parts, and many awesome projects working on this.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks for your explanation, Louis. So I remember you mentioned a phrase, social encryption. So I just want to dig maybe deeper into this part. So how does this technology bring fairness and decentralization? So how is it different from what others are doing in this space?
Yeah. So threshold, on a high level, social encryption just enables the system to have a decentralized key generation mechanism, and to not have one party kind of, that we need to trust one party to encrypt and decrypt. So and some of the nice benefits of threshold encryption, how it works essentially, you only have to trust a certain threshold of the committee to be honest and not to collude, and that can be set arbitrarily, I'd say. And the other, and that's a nice property. And regardless of who of those essentially k out of n threshold committee nodes collaborate to generate the decryption key, it doesn't matter kind of who collaborates. They all can do it, and the result will always be the same. That's kind of some of the nicer properties of threshold encryption. And again, it enables it to be decentralized. It enables it to not have hardware trust assumptions. So that's something that I think is an alternative, which is also, I would say, a valid alternative for some part of the problem. People using TEEs or Intel SGX essentially, which has some nice upsides and is sort of, from an architecture point, simpler to integrate, because again, you don't need to deal with decentralization and you don't need to deal with this kind of more sophisticated level of cryptography. But then you are introducing again kind of this problem of hardware trust assumptions, and you're essentially moving the trust assumption to let's say Intel in this case, and you have to trust then Intel on a larger scale, not to front run, right? And also it doesn't really solve all the problems. So if you maybe if you're interested in that, Ed Felton from Arbitrum just tweeted about kind of the trade-offs of TEEs, because there's a lot of talk about that. Yeah, but essentially, yeah, TLDR threshold encryption kind of is relatively simple. It's not super sophisticated like FHE, but it enables the transactional encryption to be decentralized and efficient, and removing trust assumptions, reducing trust assumptions rather than kind of centralizing them like some other solutions.
Cool. Yeah. Nice. Thanks for the feedback, Luis. And next question is for Mark. So, So just wondering, like, how do the shadows keepers interface with the Nethermind client, and what did you guys build to facilitate this? Could you like explain not too technical, not too technical way, and also pretty wondering what does this mean for futures validator to go with Nethermind, given that mempool encryption might be more and more common in the future.
So the keepers communicate with the validator over a peer-to-peer network. So peer-to-peer networking generally is more resistant than, say, like communicating through a centralized server. So it's much harder to censor these communications between the keeper and the validator. So to kind of think of how it works, so every 5 seconds, the group of keepers will come up with a new decryption key for that slot, and then they'll send it to the validator, and then the validator will take all the newest transactions and then use this key to decrypt them. And then in terms of the second question, so Shutter has been designed in such a way that is opt-in. So validators on Gnosis Chain don't have to run the Shutter protocol. So right now, only Nethermind client has implemented Shutter. So you have to use that to run it. But in future, I think Aragon are starting to work on a Shutter implementation, and other clients will gradually implement it. So yeah, you can choose Nethermind for now, and then you're not your kind of future obligation to use it.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, Mark. And next question is for Mark and for Natasha as well. So, in your opinion, how are users and validators reacting to this change on Gnosis Chain? Maybe Natasha, you wanna say something about this?
Yeah, no, the reaction has been overwhelmingly positive, of course. I think projects like this one are crucial to actually moving the needle in the right direction. We did start this off somewhat pessimistic, talking about how this is an issue that people might not even want to solve. But I do have to say there was never a group of people in the history of the world that was that set on solving this problem. So I do believe that by implementing frameworks like this, we are pushing the problem forward. And one thing the Web3 community is really well known for is once the standard is set and once the bar is there, it's really hard to go under it, like go back. The industry will call you out for it. So as much as like we're building tech that we're trying to build it in a way that people can't cheat and it's like trustless and so on, also the way we're building our communities is pushing people in the same direction, and I think that's also um, hugely important for the direction. But yeah, response is in general positive, of course, and it's setting the bar for sure.
Yeah, thanks, Natasha. And Mark, so how are those users, validators reacting to the change?
Yeah, I'd say it's very positively. Seeing a lot of interest from validators. I mean, so far we just have Gateway and Nethermind running some validators, but there's just plenty of interest from other validators who want to get involved in like testing everything out. And like hopefully in the near future we should have a release so that we can roll out to a wider set. So at the moment it's just kind of larger operators, but eventually solo stakers, everyone will be able to run it. I also wanted to add something to my last answer about the peer-to-peer. So one thing that we also did is so we have a dev, Alexi, who's working on a new libp2p implementation in C#. So this is kind of I think it's good that Shutter is like driving the development of this, which will be useful for other projects that also have a similar censorship resistant values. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, thanks, Mark. Yeah, I think it's a really good start for the whole ecosystem. So the next question is for all the panelists. So what does this new shielded trading model on Gnosis Chain mean for other chains in the ecosystem? So is this model could be brought to other EVM chains? What's your opinion for it? Yeah, let's start from Luis.
Yeah, that was kind of the idea all along, right? So originally us and my colleague Yannick and Martin posted this ETH research post about the Shutterized beacon chain. And the whole idea, kind of the proposal is still to have this be the model for the Ethereum L1. So and the kind of deploying it now on Gnosis Chain, or we're also working with the OP stack and other integrations, is essentially really an just also can be seen as a stepping stone towards that Ether 1, because that's how it works, right? We're experimenting with cool stuff on L2s or Gnosis Chain, and it can then, and if it proves to be good, then ultimately it can also be part of the Ethereum L1, and also for as Natasha said, right, for other L2s or other chains. Yeah, and so I think Gnosis Chain is a perfect role model. Kind of we can and it's also in terms of the overall decentralization and the amount of solo stakers. I think really kind of is really a very good blueprint for other chains and L2s. And with the recent Explorer that we just released, people can actually see that was pretty important. We launched the Shutterized Gnosis Chain already a couple of months back, or the encrypted mempool. However, people couldn't really see what's going on. But now with the Explorer, we're hoping that say protocol decision makers from other chains can easily see what's happening and see, is that right for me? What are the trade-offs? What are the benefits? And hopefully can make a decision to implement for themselves. Then.
Yeah, thanks, Luis. And Armin, what's your opinion for it?
I will say, as Luis mentioned, we have a similar architecture, a similar beacon chain architecture with Ethereum, so it can be easily implemented in the Ethereum. As Luis said, I fully agree with you, Luis. We are trying to be set a credible neutrality chain with with working with the solo stakers as much as possible, because the anyone can run a node in the Gnosis chain, which is super nice, which is super fair participation, and we also have a very low financial barrier. Those who want to run a node, so every node operator can easily participate Shutter's Gnosis chain as a validator. So this is providing a lot of opportunities for us and also the Ethereum mainnet, because our validators are node operators, also Ethereum, mostly Ethereum node operators, which means that we can easily integrate in the tech stack and also the community participation.
Got it, Armin. Yeah. And next one is Mark. So, what do you think about it?
Yeah, so I think it's a very good sort of starting point for encrypted mempools. Kind of demonstrates their potential. In general, Gnosis Chain is a bit easier to move faster than Ethereum to kind of try out new ideas. So I think it's a perfect place to test this out and then kind of see its viability for Ethereum. In general, I think, and yeah, just implementing the code in the Nethermind client generally could provide support for encrypted mempools in future that will probably use reuse a lot of the same code base. I think future encrypted mempools, especially for Ethereum, might have different designs depending on the state of cryptography. They could introduce new sort of state of the art cryptography that even further reduces trust assumptions. So, say for example, threshold encryption can be replaced with other assumptions that don't require a trust in the threshold set with other cryptography. So, but yeah, I think that this is a very good starting point.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, the last one is Natasha. Love to hear your idea about it.
Yeah, I've been antagonizing everyone this entire conversation. No, I do have to agree. I think the benefit is twofold. Not just it's not just that the industry now has a new standard and everyone needs to keep up, and the expectations have changed, but also it allows for experimentation. The more people use technology like this, the more they'll see the issues and the benefits, and they'll keep building on it. The more we build, the better the solution gets. But also, back to the point we had earlier in the conversation, the cheaper the solution also gets. And I think for adoption of anything, whether in Web3 or not, it needs to be affordable. Unfortunately, it needs to be commercially viable. So any movement in this direction ultimately leads to this becoming available to everyone for not a lot of cost, and easy to integrate, simple to use, reliable, and so on. So I think this solution moves us miles closer to the goal for sure, and it's a great start. Great start. Good job, guys.
Yeah, thanks for Natasha. Point out very important things. So cheap, reliable, and easy to use. Yeah, so actually we are close to the end of our today's talk, and we're heading to the last question for Luis and Armin. So because I know like you guys collaborate to build Gnosis Chain, so for anyone who wants to learn more and start to building or trading on Gnosis Chain, where can they start, or like, yeah, where could they start?
So
Armin?
that
Oh, sorry,
sorry.
Luis. Yeah,
Sorry.
you can first.
Sorry, thanks. I think depending on which user group you are or which group you are, and there's different avenues, I'd say. The very simple answer is if you just want to use it and be kind of shutterized, protected, you can go on block.shutter.network/shielded trading, and there you can just press this button, which adds the shutterized RPC to your MetaMask, and then and then from then on, you're using that encrypted mempool route. So that's kind of the easy answer for any user. Then I would say the slightly more advanced user, or those who want to maybe see what's going on. Again, I would point to the explorer.shutter.network, and it's really a fun thing just to explore, because it shows dynamically kind of which slots are shutterized and which are not, and it's going like so it's also just fun to watch, and interesting to get what the Gnosis chain implementation. And then if you're a builder, again, I would say a couple of avenues. If you're a builder on Gnosis Chain or want to build a Gnosis Chain, just get in touch, and we'd love to work with you to support the encrypted mempool even in a more deeper integration. So don't necessarily have to do anything, because the users are already protected via the shutterized RPC. But again, as I mentioned earlier, it would be even nicer if encryption were to happen natively from on the user side, and would happen in the let's say front end, for example. So yeah, if you're a builder on Gnosis Chain, get in touch with us or Gnosis. And one last thing to mention is that this weekend we'll have two hackathons coming up: East Sofia and East San Francisco. Um, East Sofia Shutter sponsors a small a bounty, and East San Francisco is a lot bigger, and Gnosis and Shutter are sponsoring it. Especially Gnosis is sponsoring it. Maybe Aman can touch on it. And little leak here, we we're about to release a little special shutter version, which we call Nano Shutter, which is especially built for hackathons, so people can play around with it and hopefully exactly in time for those two hackathons. So sign up for the hackathons. I think they're also both are also online, as I understand, and hack on Shutter. You can build commit reveal use cases, blind auctions, rock paper scissors games using the commit reveal mechanism. Yeah. So sorry for the long answer, but yeah, depending on who you are, depends where you should go.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Luis. And Armin?
Yeah, I will add just a validator site and not operator site. If you're a not operator, yeah, and if you want to participate in Shutter Gnosis chain using the Nethermind client, just check it out our official documents, and also you can participate in our Discord channel, Discord Shutter specific channel, and also we have a validator specific channel. Shutter team also providing a lot of documents and support for those who want to participate in as a validator. So it is very easy process. And another thing is if you want to learn more about Gnosis, basically our official documents is our main hub. Or if you have any questions, just reach us on various channels like Discord, on Twitter or Telegram, whatever you prefer. As Luis mentioned, yeah, we are sponsoring 2 hackathons on the San Francisco. Actually, Eat Global San Francisco. Actually, we have been doing this sponsorship for a while, maybe almost more than 6 months. So we will continue the sponsoring hackathon with the Shutter Network, because this is a really nice experimental area to building something on Gnosis chain and using the Shutter tools, Shutter Shutterize, for example, Shutterize trading, shielded voting, or using RPC. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for Armin. And also looking forward to your hackathon. Yeah. So our conversation is coming to the close. And once again, thanks for all our panelists, Louis, Armin, Mark, and Natasha. Thanks for sharing your in-depth insights with all our audiences. And we also believe that, I mean, through the efforts of the industry builders, we will ultimately achieve the vision of credible neutrality in future. Yeah, so thanks for attending, everyone, and have a nice day. Bye bye.
Thanks so much.
Have a good one.
Thanks so
Awesome.
much.
Thanks for having
Nice
me.
day.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.